Start. Let me go with the guitar. All right, Jaiva Dharma. Just make sure the streaming is working. Hold on a second. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. I have to... Some problem with the streaming. Some people made a change on my Facebook page so the streaming got changed. Hold on a second. Let me go back into the software. Let's take 1 second. Dashboard. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. All right. Let's see. Just give me a second, a little technical glitch here. Yep, it's working now. Okay. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Okay. Yeah, there was a little bit of technical difficulty today, which we had to correct. Okay, we are ready. Okay, let's pick a song. It's a nice song, because all the songs about Krishna are nice. All right. The song. Ooh. All right. Oh. An oldie but a goodie. Let me just turn off the phone so we don't get disturbed. Pulaka sharir ariane bunitena yane babekir goranga bunite pulaka sharir ariane bunitena yane babekir Arakabe, Ichai, Chandera, Corona High, babe, Samsara Vasana, Kapi Chai, Arakabe, Ichai, Chandera, Corona. na oime samsara vasana mora joime vishaya jadikave shudabe mana kameyama ravushi vrindavana vishaya jadikave shudabe mana kameyama Beakuti Kabeyama Jabose Yukala Veriti Uba Ramina Vapare Beakuti Kabeyama Jabose Yukala Veriti Rakumura Asha Ratana Kore Sada Naruto Das Rupa Rana Vare Rakumura Asha Ratana Kore Sada Naruto Gorangamo Iteami Ulakashari Hati Hati Ite Nayane Babenir Gorangamo Ulakashari Hati Hati Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paramacharya. Also tell us that Shimad, His Divine Grace, about Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Marshalla Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Hridas Thakur Ki Jai, Parem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturadam Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Na Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharni Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatani. Let me read the translation. When will the opportune moment come to me when I shiver upon chanting the name of Lord Gauranga? When will I cry while chanting Hare Krishna? When will I receive the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda so that my desires for material enjoyment become insignificant? When will my mind be purified of material anxieties and desires so that I can understand Vrindavan? When shall I be very eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis so they can understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna? The lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis are my only shelter. In constant separation from them, I remain Narottamadas. Narottamadas Thakur ki Jai. So let's continue with the Jaiva Dharma, which is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's work. It's his quintessential work, which touches upon all the different aspects of devotional service in Bandha Abhideyam Prayojana. Who is Krishna? What is the soul? What is the material energy? What is the spiritual energy? What is the relationship? What to do about it? How to become Krishna conscious? And then ultimately, what's the perfection of life? Okay, on that happy note, let's continue. Now, this particular section of the Jaiva Dharma is actually a summary study of the nectar of devotion. And it's very interesting. I mean, it's just very much in tune with what Srila Prabhupada taught us. So let's go. Om Ganat Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Un Militam Yena Tasmai Shi Gurave Namaha. Okay, and let's share the screen. Here we go. There's the Jaiva Dharma. All right. So we touched upon 46 so far of the angas in devotional service. Offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So we touched upon 46 of the angas in devotional service. Actually, the first 20 are the most important. And now we're going to go to the last few. There's 64 angas. Angas means the branches that are important in devotional service. 47. 2 types of dasha. Dasha means servitude. Offering one's karmas and acting as a servant. Offering one's karmas doesn't mean, I got all this bad karma, I'm just going to dump it on you, Guru Maharaj. It means offering one's activities and also being a servant. 48. 2 types of sakya, friendship. Conviction that Krishna is always protecting me, taking care of me, and everything like that. And he's my friend, and then I have to act as his friend. Atma Nivedanam, which is what? Surrender of the self. It means offering the jiva and offering the possessiveness related to the body to the Lord. In other words, my manasa deha geha yoka shamor aprilam tuyapati nanda kishore. My mind, my body, my words, everything is yours. Home, everything is yours. Oh, Nanda Kishore, that's Krishna. Vijay Kumar said, so Vijay Kumar, again, he is the uncle, and Brajanathi is the nephew. Please clearly explain the sense of I related to the Atma, the self, and possessiveness related to the body. It's interesting. Because we are interested in the ego, not the false ego, but the real ego. So, the jiva, Babaji said, the jiva in the body is the possessor of the body. Dehi. That's the body. No, it means the possessor of the body. Dehi. Deha is the body. And has a sense of I. Taking support of that and thinking of I is called Dehi. Nishta ahamta. That means thinking of the body as me. Thinking of the body as mine is possessiveness related to the body. Mine, and me. One should offer both to the Lord, while giving up the idea I related to the jiva and mine related to the body. One should spend his life in the body thinking of using the body in Krishna's service, and because the body belongs to Krishna. And thinking I am Krishna's servant enjoying his mercy. This is called Atma Nivedana, that's surrender. That means everything belongs to Krishna. Body, home, everything related to the body, everything related to the soul, everything related to anything. Vijay Kumar says, how does offer dear items to the Lord? Babaji said, one should accept in relation to Krishna those items considered dear to oneself in this world. So that's interesting. Things that are very dear. So that doesn't mean, liquor is very dear to me, I'm going to offer it to Krishna. Or my old clothes offer to Krishna. These things that are dear in the mode of goodness, you offer to Krishna. Vijay Kumar said, how does one do all activities for Krishna? 51. Babaji said, one makes all activities which are either traditional or Vedic favorable to the Lord. That is the meaning of doing all actions for Krishna. Vijay Kumar said, what is complete surrender? 52. Some of these are not mutually exclusive. Sometimes it appears a little bit repetitive, or there's some overlapping between the different principles of surrender or principles of angas of bhakti. Babaji said, one should think, O Lord, I am yours, and O Lord, I have surrendered to you. And of course, the absolutely pure devotee in the spiritual world, they think Krishna is mine. a sense of possessiveness. Vijay Kumar said, what is service to Tulasi? It's 53. Babaji said, there are 9 types of service to Tulasi. Seeing her, touching her, meditating on her, glorifying her, offering respects to her, hearing her glories, planting her, serving her, and worshiping her daily. These 9 methods glorify Tulasi with the aim of serving the Lord. Interesting. So we do that every day, of course, in the temple. We respect Tulsi, we water Tulsi. We may not plant her every day. That's reserved for the people who are in charge. But usually I take the dirt from her lotus feet and touch it to my head. Vijay Kumar said, what is respecting scriptures? 54. Babaji said, whoops. Scriptures are those which explain bhakti. Among them, Bhagavatam is the best since it is the essence of Vedanta. Persons satisfied with the nectar of ras are not attracted to any other scripture. In other words, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, anything that supports the Bhagavatam is considered an anga of the Bhagavatam. Vijay Kumar said, what is the glory of Mathura, the birthplace of the Lord? 55. Babaji said, one attains one's desire by hearing about Mathura, remembering it, glorifying it, desiring to go there, seeing it, touching it, living there, and serving it. Mayapur is the same. So by Mathura, we mean not just the city of Mathura, but the Mathura Mandala, which includes the Braj. So actually, according to Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Krishna is an original aspect, was born or appeared in Braj, not in Mathura, and in Mathura he appeared as his Vasudev expansion. But that's a little esoteric for all of you. Vijay Kumar said, what is serving the Vaishnavas? 56. Babaji said, the Vaishnava is very dear to the Lord. If one serves a Vaishnava, one develops bhakti for the Lord. It is stated in the scriptures that the worship of Vishnu is better than worshipping all devatas, but superior to that worship is worshiping his servant, a Vaishnava. And of course, that statement is made both by Lord Shiva and by Krishna himself. Lord Shiva says of all types of worship, worship of Vishnu is supreme, but better than that is worship of the Vaishnava. And Krishna says, one who says my devotee is not my devotee, one says he's a devotee, my devotee is actually my devotee. Vijay Kumar said, what does arranging festivals with wealth mean? Babaji said, one should gather whatever materials possible in the temple, and after serving the Lord, serve pure Vaishnavas. That is a festival. There's no festival greater than this in the universe. Pretty good. Vijay Kumar said, what is respecting Kartika month? 58. Babaji said, Kartika month is called Urja. In this month, one should serve Damodara by hearing chanting etc. regularly. That is respecting the month of Kartika. It's also called the month of Damodar. And during that month, of course, we perform the Damodar Ashtaka and worship a small form or picture of Damodar. Damodar means Krishna, who was tied up around his belly by Mother Yashoda, which indicates the most intimate pastimes in the Vatsalya Prem. Vijay Kumar said, how does one observe the Lord's birthday? 59. Doesn't mean he's 59 years old, but 59 is the number of the Anga. Prabhuji said one should celebrate with a festival the appearance of Krishna on Bhadra Krishnastami and the appearance of Gauranga on the Purnima of Falguna. So that means in the month of Bhadra, in the 8th day of the month of Bhadra, and Purnima means the full moon in the month of Falguna. Falguna. Those who have surrendered should observe these festivals. Vijay Kumar said, how does one serve the deity with faith? Paricharya, number 60. Babaji said, one must always hold in the heart affectionate enthusiasm for serving the deity. Krishna gives great fruit. Hold on a second, I forgot to put the chat window up. All right, excuse me a second. Krishna gives the great fruit of bhakti to one who does so, not giving insignificant liberation. Vijay Kumar said, please explain how one can taste the meaning of the Bhagavad with the rasika devotees. That means devotees who are tasting the nectar. Rasa means a taste. There's different tastes. So a rasika means one who is tasting all the time, especially the sweet taste, which is mentioned here. Babaji said, Bhagavatam is the sweet ras on the desire tree of the Vedas. Rasa will not arise by tasting it along with persons who are averse to rasa. Rather, that is an offense. One should sit with persons who are knowers of the rasa of Bhagavatam, who are qualified with pure bhakti, and who thirst for the rasa of Krishna's pastimes and taste the rasa while reciting his verses. If one recites or hears Bhagavatam in a gathering of ordinary people, pure bhakti does not arise. So this is like what they call the Bhagavat Saptaha. People who go to 7-day recital of the Bhagavatam thinking they're going to make some spiritual advancement. But, obviously there's some sukriti that arises there. But in one sense, if they're hearing from someone who is not Krishna conscious, someone who's a materialistic person, then there's also some contamination that arises in those circumstances. So Vijay Kumar said, how does one associate with affectionate devotees with similar aspirations? Babaji said, associating with non-devotees in the name of devotee association will not give progress in bhakti. The devotees desire to attain service in the spiritual pastimes of Krishna. Those persons who have such desire are called devotees. Among them, if one associates with those who are superior to oneself, one advances in bhakti. Doing otherwise, bhakti stagnates. That means one doesn't make any progress. And one becomes similar to the persons with whom one associates. In the scriptures, it is written. In other words, we should actually associate with those devotees who are at least equally advanced as us, or more advanced from us, and hear from the devotees who are more advanced and make friendship with the equally advanced devotees. Yasyayat sangate pumso manivachat satadguna swakula hridyai tato devang swayutang eva sangshrayat. A man will attain the qualities of the person with whom he associates, just as a crystal takes up the color of the object next to it. Therefore, the wise man will take shelter of those who have qualities like his own for the prosperity of his family. Hari Bhakti Sudaya. Actually, we were reading something very similar to that this morning. That why, this is an interesting point. One reason why the devotees do not leave Vrindavan even when Krishna leaves Vrindavan. Right. One reason. Of course, Vrindavan, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but Krishna ostensibly or apparently leaves Vrindavan. Why don't they just follow him to Dwarka? Because they want to associate with those who have qualities like their own. They would feel out of place with the devotees in Dwarka or Mathura. It's just like, they're just not in the same mood. Just like when one becomes a devotee, one wants to associate with those who are in the same mood. It's just like you love everybody, but it just feel out of place. I know if I ever have to go to a social gathering, which I can't think of last time. Oh yeah, my mother's birthday party when she was 90 years old was the last time. I went to a social gathering. I just felt really like an alien. I mean, I was nice. I understood how to interact. I didn't give people the impression that here's an alien. But it was just like, it's just like, what? And and also, we go to other temples of other sampradayas, which are bona fide. They're worshiping Vishnu. I respect it. I love it. It's very nice. But I couldn't imagine having like close long-term association like that, because it's a different mood. Vijay Kumar said, "What is Nama Sankirtan?" Babaji said, "This name is spiritual, conscious ras." Nama Chindamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It's a conscious taste. It has no material touch. The name, that's Hare Krishna, the name manifests on the devotee's tongue, purified by bhakti, from the desire for service. The name is not perceived by the material senses. The name should always be chanted by oneself and with others in Sankirtana. Sankirtana generally means congregational chanting. It also can mean intense, focused chanting, that you're doing complete chanting. Vijay Kumar said, "We have understood by your mercy all about living in the birthplace of Krishna, that is Mathura. Now tell us the essence." Babaji said, "The last 5 angas are the best. If devoid of offenses, one can establish a little relationship with them. Bhava will manifest by their astonishing strength." Wow. That's amazing. A little relationship with them. Vijay Kumar said, "Is there something more related to sadhana that we should know?" Babaji said, "The intermediate results of these angas are described in the scriptures in order to attract materialistic people. These are sometimes called Shruti Halas, the fruit of Shruti, the fruit of following Shruti. Shruti means like that which is heard, which means the Vedas or Vedic injunctions. So sometimes it's mentioned, anyone who reads this or does this activity will be prosperous and healthy. Okay, better than going to the doctor. Chief result of all the angas is rati, for Krishna, love and taste for Krishna. Those in knowledge of bhakti approve of all actions if they are angas of bhakti, and give up actions which are angas, branches of karma. Karma means things that entangle you, either good karma, bad karma. It's all bad. It's like, like oh my God, a piece of excrement which is in the sun and it's dried out and it doesn't smell, good excrement. Anyway, by jnana and by ragya, whoops, we made it a little bit too big here. Hold on, I gotta shift this a little bit. By jnana and vairagya, there's a slight suitability for entering the temple of bhakti. But jnana and vairagya are not counted as angas of bhakti. In other words, by doing jnana and vairagya, you cultivate a little bit of the mode of goodness, and it gives you a position where you become more receptive to bhakti, but it doesn't give you bhakti. They produce hardness in the heart. Bhakti has a very soft nature. Jnana and vairagya that manifest by bhakti are accepted. They cannot be the causes of bhakti. In other words, by performing devotional service, you get knowledge and you get detachment. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanachayan Ahoy to come. One gets knowledge and detachment, but knowledge and detachment don't give you bhakti. If bhakti, knowledge and detachment, to use a syllogism, but you can't say if knowledge and detachment, bhakti. What cannot be given by jnana and vairagya is easily given by bhakti. Sadhana bhakti produces such a taste for worshiping the Lord that a very great taste for material enjoyment disappears. Yep, it happens. The sadhakas, sadhana bhakti means devotional service and practice. The sadhakas means the persons performing devotional service and practice should practice yukta vairagya. What is yukta vairagya? Means we accept renunciation by using things in Krishna's service, not by giving them up. Like we see a car, we use it for Krishna. We have money, we use it for Krishna. You have a family, you use it for Krishna, because it belongs to Krishna, not you. So the opposite of yukta vairagya is falgu vairagya, where one, is mentioned here, means false renunciation, where one gives up things that can be used for Krishna. One should relate all objects to Krishna, accepting suitable objects without attachment. That is called yukta vairagya, using things for Krishna. Like we're using a computer for Krishna. I didn't give it up. I never said the computer was Maya. Falgu vairagya, nothing is really Maya. It's just a question of you may be in Maya, not using things properly. Falgu vairagya is rejecting objects related to the Lord, thinking that they are material because of a desire for liberation. In other words, I don't want to use a computer, it's just so entangling. I don't want to use a car, it's so entangling. I don't want to touch money. Like one time, there was a Mayavadi impersonalist who took a picture, had a picture made of himself pushing money away. Prabhupada said you could have a picture taken of him pulling the money in to be used in Krishna's service, not for sense grab. That's yukta vairagya. One should give up impersonal jnana and falgu vairagya. Bhakti displayed with the aim of wealth or disciples is very far from pure bhakti and is not an anga of bhakti. Discrimination, viveka, and other qualities are qualities of the persons qualified for bhakti. In other words, if one's thinking, I am just doing this devotional service, I get followers, nadanam nijanam nasundarim, same thing. Where Lord Chaitanya says, I'm not interested in wealth, I'm not interested in beautiful women, I'm not interested in followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. They are not angas of bhakti. The person serving Krishna naturally manifests yama, niyama. Yama means the restrictions restrictions against forbidden activities. Niyama means the positive injunctions, clean behavior. They are not angas of bhakti. In other words, it comes from bhakti. Bhakti doesn't come from them. Inner purification, outer purification, austerity, and peacefulness naturally take shelter of the devotee. One does not have to make an effort to attain them. Wow. Among all the angas of bhakti described, if one is steady in the chief angas, or if one performs many angas steadily, one reaches perfection. I have described Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti in brief. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti means the practice of devotional service according to the rules and regulations. You should understand them nicely, thinking of them in your hearts, and perform them as much as possible. So Brajanath and Vijay Kumar, after hearing all this, felt at the lotus feet of Guru and offered respects. They said, Prabhu, the machine's master, please deliver us by your mercy. Having fallen into the hole of pride, we have been drowning. Babaji said, Krishna will definitely be merciful to you. It was late in the night. The uncle and nephew departed for home. So all this is taking place around Mayapur. They all live in Mayapur, close to the Yoga Peeth. And they're getting all the mercy. Of course, they're Dhamvasis, which means they were born in a holy place, and therefore they're fit recipients for mercy of Krishna and Gauranga. Okay, let's get to the next chapter. All right, just page down. Got a lot of blank pages here. Chapter 21. Wow, this is what you've been waiting for, Prabhus. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. So we're going to see these two personalities, Vijay Kumar and Brajanath, make a very quick advancement from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Raganuga means to follow one's rag, or attachments, or basically a person who is a eternally liberated associate devotee of Krishna or Radharani, and we follow in their footsteps. But it's also practice. But the practice is done, it's called spontaneous practice instead of rule and regulation practice. You're still following the rules and regulations, don't get me wrong. It's not that you say, oh, no more rules and regulations. There is no place for spontaneous devotional service in ISKCON. I've heard that said by some very prominent persons. You know, when I try to wake them up for Mangalarti, prominent persons, we're talking about older devotees, old devotees. I wake them up, I say, it's time to get up. And then they say, isn't there any place for spontaneous devotional service in ISKCON? Why are you also attached? And yes, there is a place, but those who are on the level of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, or Bhava Bhakti, or Prema Bhakti, they still follow the rules. Why? I'll tell you why. Yadyada chariti shreshtas tatat eveto orujanaha. Because they understand they're setting an example. Let's say if there was a devotee, let's say hypothetically, if I was a very advanced devotee on the topmost platform of devotional service, and so I would just wake up whenever I felt ecstatic in the morning and stay up all night, you know, dancing in ecstasy. And then people would say, wow, Guru Maharaj is pretty nice. He's the best guru because he's not a rule and regulation man. And so forth, you know, wow. I get to do all these things spontaneously, just follow my emotions here. Wonderful. It's what I always wanted in Krishna consciousness. No. So then I'd be setting a bad example. Even though I might be rightly situated, I would be setting a horrible example for others. Because people follow Yadyada Charati Shrestas Tatati Vetarojana. As a leader acts, other people follow. Or as you give people an inch, they take a mile. Just like there's the story, you know, one of my favorite stories, is that once upon a time, Prabhupada was in an airplane, and when he was in the airplane, Prabhupada was thirsty, and they offered him something called 7-Up. Now, for those of you who are young whippersnappers, may not know what 7-Up is. 7-Up is like a lemon-flavored, fizzy, sugary drink. That's 7-Up. Yeah, that's it. I used to like it a lot before I gave up sugar. Anyway, so they gave Prabhupada 7-Up. So he drank it, and he said, oh, very tasty. And devotees watched him, and they thought, wow, Prabhupada likes 7-Up. So not only did they get 7-Up from Prabhupada when Prabhupada would go to a place, but the devotees also became the national or international drink, or the drink for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the authorized drink. And so then, one time, a whole delivery truck of 7-Up stopped in front of the New York Temple. Prabhupada at a certain point saw that, this is not going to work. These people just like, if you give them an inch, they'll take more than a mile. They'll just run with it. So you got to be really careful, especially if you're in the position of leadership. Whatever position you're at in devotional service, you got to be really careful, because you could end up with a joint mess, as Prabhupada would say. An astonishing emotion arose in the hearts of Brajanath and Vijay Kumar. They both decided it was necessary to take Diksha from the Siddha Babaji. Wow, they wanted to take initiation. Vijay Kumar had in his childhood taken Diksha from his family guru. Brajanath, after his Gayatri Diksha, Vedic mantra, had not taken any mantra Diksha, Vaishnava mantra. From the teachings of Babaji, they could understand that by chanting a mantra given by a non-Vaishnava guru, the jiva goes to hell. Oh my God. When one develops discernment, one should again take Diksha from a Vaishnava guru according to the proper rules. This is actually good. So let me just copy this, because let me copy this, because I was having this discussion with someone the other day. Oh, I'm trying to copy it. Hold on a second. Copy. We just send it in an app to someone. This is actually pretty important. They give this. All right, let's go back. Go back to the screen. Hold on a second. Screen sharing, not screen. So there was a question raised. Usually we take questions afterwards, but I'll actually answer this. Varnashram Dharma is not included as an item of the 64 Vaidhi Bhakti. But we discuss so much about Varnashram activities that aim at purification of the soul for the Lord's pleasure. I mean, it's really not part of Vaidhi Bhakti. Although, if one is performing Vaidhi Bhakti, one will be intelligent to engage people according to the psychophysical nature. Although it's very external. It's not necessary or sufficient to follow Varnashram to become a devotee, or to go back to home, back to Godhead. Okay? Not necessary. But it helps stabilize society. And it also is a fallback position when one is not able to be a devotee. It's a fallback position so that people who are not ready for bhakti yoga can at least be a step closer to bhakti yoga. But anyway, there's two types of varnashram. There's Jaiva Varnashram and Asura Varnashram. Jaiva Varnashram means engage in Krishna service according to your psychophysical nature, which is basically it. I mean, people make Varnashram such a complicated discussion. Oh my God. You know, there are, the main thing about Varnashram, there's certain modes of nature, certain activities in different modes of nature, and those people in those modes of nature naturally should be doing those activities for Krishna. That's it. That's all you need to know about Varnashram. You don't need to dwell any more into it than that, otherwise it will take you away from Vaishnavism. Sorry about that. Ah, and the Varnashram College means to train people up in Krishna consciousness according to their nature. One likes to dig ditches, that's one nature. One likes to give classes, another nature. Uh, what should the nature, the nature of someone who's a GBC? Don't ask me, I don't know. So when one develops discernment, one should again take diksha from a Vaishnava guru according to the proper rules. Especially if one becomes the disciple of a Siddha devotee, the mantra will quickly give results. Considering this, the two decide the next morning after bathing the Ganga at Mayapur, they would take diksha from the Babaji. In other words, they didn't have to take the ISKCON disciple course or anything like that, because that's the injunction. In ISKCON we do these things because we have to have some order and regulation, otherwise everything's haywire, so there have to be this adjustment in ISKCON. There's the reason for it. Thinking of this, the two, after finishing their bath in the Ganga, the next morning, putting on the 12 tilak marks as previously instructed, went and offered respects at Raghunath Das Babaji's feet. Babaji was a Siddha Vaishnava. Knowing their minds, he asked, "Why have you come today in the morning?" The two said, "Prabhu," which means master, "please be merciful to us worthless souls." Babaji led them separately into his room and gave the 18-syllable mantra to them. It's a simple process. Because diksha basically means to get the mantra. Divya Gyan, Shayate. To free one from the material world by getting the mantra, the 18-syllable mantra, which I'm not going to give to you right now because it's not the time. So chanting, no, the last few chapters were not the disciple course. Maybe some of the things I said were connected. Chanting the mantra, the two became mad with great prema and shouting, "Jai Gauranga! Jai Gauranga!" began to dance. Wow. Wow. Sounds like my initiation. Seeing the tulsi beads around their necks. Seeing the tulsi beads around their necks, their beautiful Gayatri threads, the 12 tilak marks, their bright faces, slight sattvika bhavas, and tears flowing from their eyes, Babaji embraced them. He said, "Today you have purified me." Of course, they're Damvasis, so that's why they're making such rapid progress. Now, you have to be a little more patient, and I have to be a little bit more patient. So today you have purified me. Now it's time for, what is it time for? Questions. Well, there's an ecstatic step in their devotional service. So time for questions. Let us go. Another point I wanted to mention is that initiation meant the Gayatri mantra in the tradition that was present at that particular time, in the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. Prabhupada broke up the initiation to Harinam initiation, like a preliminary initiation, Harinam, and Diksha. And Prabhupada actually gave Harinam very, very easily after 6 months. I took it after, probably less than 6 months in the movement, maybe 6 months in the movement. And there was no elaborate tests and all that other stuff. It was just like, you accept it. And then, but the second initiation, that was much more serious. But the first initiation, Prabhupada did break up into 2 initiations. And it's first initiation, the spiritual master does accept the disciple, and the disciple can go back to Godhead just with first initiation. So, with that in mind, let us unmute you, or allow you to unmute yourselves, and you can ask some questions. We have a nice group of 37 people watching now, and a lot more on Facebook and YouTube watching. It's become a popular class. So anybody have any questions? Unmute yourself, raise your hand. These are options. Okay,
Gurudev,
Rakesh.
there's one question.
About this Don't
It,
ask a
it is
question
question
about.
about the class. No, no. One,
Okay.
Pran Govinda just asked you a follow-up question, so I want to go before I ask any question.
I already answered Pran Govinda's question.
Now he asked second question.
Some practice varnashram, cultivative jnana, renunciation were not mentioned in the. Are they not items of devotional service? Cultivation of jnana and renunciation. Well, yukta vairagya, but not just renunciation, like a little variety of that. And knowledge of Krishna, understanding the tattvas, the rasas and things like that, are important. Studying the Vaishnava literature, so that means there's some. So, but they're not really the same thing as varnashram, jnana, and renunciation. A little bit different. Of course, you could say, well, they're part of Daivi varnashram. It depends on how you define varnashram. If you say it's part of just material varnashram, no. But Daivi varnashram means you integrate the principles of devotional service into varnashram, which means you serve Krishna according to your nature. And that's certainly the integration of varnashram into it. Although, really, the only thing you got to understand about varnashram, to tell you the truth, is that everybody has a certain psychophysical nature. Prabhupada said the duty of the guru is to engage the disciple according to his or her psychophysical nature and engage them in Krishna service. That's varnashram right there. And understanding there's certain duties that are applicable for people with different psychophysical natures. There's different ashrams, varnashram. There's different varnas, and there's different ashrams. The brahmachari, there's appropriate activities for a brahmachari, a vanaprastha, sannyas. But, if you go by the strict definition of what a brahmachari or grahastha or vanaprastha, then you're going to really be in trouble. Because if you go by the strict definition of vanaprastha, you're going to have to wear tree bark instead of cotton clothes. And sannyasis sometimes are recommended to dress in the wind, which means naked. So I do not think, or sannyasis at least can't wear sewn clothing, or sannyasis can't cross an ocean, or sannyasis, I can tell you so many things sannyasis are not supposed to do that we do. Can't go in a car. So, one has to be careful about these things. Devotees I've seen get really fanatic about this point of varnashram. They're saying, oh, what were the cause of our movement not spreading is because of varnashram. The cause of our movement not spreading is because of purity or lack of purity. Why did the movement spread with Prabhupada there? Prabhupada knew how to engage everybody in Krishna's service. Prabhupada had purity. Prabhupada attracted people. Prabhupada was loving towards everybody. That's the point. I just visited a temple last week where they have so many new devotees, really high educated new devotees. And it's just simple, pure atmosphere. Simple, just a very simple, pure atmosphere. People are attracted to purity. That's what attracted me when I read Prabhupada's books. If I just came to the movement and found another version of the material world, with people having beach parties when I joined the movement, then I would have never joined. I would just say, this is what I've already done. Why do I have to join? It had to be a mission, had to be, we're going to save the world, and which we are. We are saving the world. We're a missionary movement. Now, outside our devotees, were initiated and everything like that, yes, then people be engaged according to their nature. And, like Krishna says in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, always think of me. If you can't think of me, follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, bhakti yoga. If you can't do that, give the results of your activities to me. You got all these fallback positions. But as someone engaged in the center of Krishna consciousness, I think the fallback positions will naturally be there under the guidance of those who have not fallen back, if that makes sense. Okay, Rakesh, you had a question.
Gurudev, you said there are two kinds of varnashram, Sura and Asura. Please explain Asura varnashram.
Asura Varnashram is where, like Ravana, Ravana respected the Brahmins. He was very respectful towards the Brahmins, and he engaged people according to their cycle, but nothing was dedicated to Krishna. In fact, it was dedicated to the opposite of Krishna consciousness. That's called Asura Varnashram, where it's not, you still follow the rules and regulations, but it's not dedicated to Krishna. That's all. Not all the rules, not the rules and regulations of bhakti, but I mean you follow dharma. Dharma, you're at least dharma. Ravana was extremely dharmic up to the point that he was kidnapping women, especially Sita Devi. But he did respect Brahma. He had plenty of Brahmins in Lanka. They were doing sacrifices. He himself did a sacrifice, was offering his heads to Lord Brahma. So that's Asura Varnashram. And devotee Varnashram means to engage people according to their psychophysical nature. They do sadhana on one side, or for their main activity is sadhana, and then their practical activities during the day. They're businessmen. Okay, make money, give the results to Krishna. You're a administrator. Okay, help run the movement. It's a big question. Should GBCs be administrators or should they be Brahmins? Good question, which I'm not going to try to answer in this class because it might be really controversial. I have my opinions, and I have my opinion. Oh, what is my opinion? My opinion is the GBC should be broken up into two divisions. One division should be the managers, and the other division should be those who guide in the theoretical basis. So I would much rather be in the theoretical basis of guiding the movement than just like the hands-on, have you paid the bills? But now I have to do both of those things. You go to the temples, are you paying the bills? Is your account in order? Are you checking all the boxes? But really they're two different types of service. And it's a stretch to have one person do two things. Prabhupada could do it. Prabhupada said he'd go to the bank in the morning, give the class in the morning and go to the bank in the afternoon, bank in the morning. So, on that happy note, we should end. It's nice to see Pran Govinda there. He taught me everything I know about Krishna consciousness. No, he didn't. He's going to join me in New Orleans. He's going to join me in New
Eternal
Orleans.
servant, Maharaj.
He's going to join me in New Orleans. I'm attempting to liberate him from the clutches of Alachua. Anyway, so
Nobody in the Zoom from Alachua, so it's okay, Maharaj.
it was all right. To try to give him mukti. Not bhakti, mukti. To escape. Anyway, so all right, so that happy note, or humorous note, we'll see everybody tomorrow. All glory